Sup everybody? Had an awesome PCP movie night tonight. The Journey to the Force Awakens. Today, we finally got to episode 3. Revenge of the Sith. Alright guys, episode 3, Revenge of the Sith, Star Wars. Going to the Force Awakens, let me tell you this. Episode 1, not as bad as we all remembered. Episode 2, worse than we remembered. Episode 3, bad ass. In fact, Rockin, Robbie dare to say, episode 3, better than Return of the Jedi. That's right, Revenge of the Sith is better than Return of the Jedi, in my opinion. We want to know what the pop culture philosophers have to think. Brooks, what do you think about the movie?
Revenge of the Sith, it's my second favorite.
Second favorite. After what?
New Hope.
Oh.
New Hope.
Or Empire.
Yeah, Empire.
After Empire. This is better than New Hope.
You said
my top three would be Empire, Revenge of the Sith, and New Hope.
Tell me why.
I loved Revenge of the Sith, man. It had badass lightsaber duels, it was action-packed. I mean, it was like, the whole movie was like a big adventure.
Everything we wanted was finally
at the end, like Darth Vader rises from the ashes.
Yeah. Whatever you think about episode 1 or episode 2, you gotta admit that episode 3 is supremely badass. Like you said, lightsaber duels, out the yin-yang. We got some good fucking like mythological shit in there. We got just great Palpatine Vader. Yeah. You know, Yoda, Obi-Wan, like some good acting, some heartbreaking scenes, man. Speaking of heartbreakers, Jelani, what you gotta say about episode 3?
I love episode 3. It makes up for episode 2. And the fact that episode 1 could have been so much better.
Oh, yeah.
But they could have made this movie, the episode 3,
could have been the whole thing, yeah.
2 movies, 2 parts. You could do that. They did it with Mark and Jay. They're doing it with all these movies now. Harry Potter. I mean, you have to make
episode 1 and 2 could have been one movie.
It was awesome.
And episode 3 could have been 2 movies.
This is the first time I've ever watched a movie since the theater, because I was like, I'm not going to watch this anymore, because I had to finish the trilogy. But this movie, the second time...
The movies don't show you the Clone Wars,
yeah,
actually.
It's the Clone
But
Wars.
of
The
course...
only thing missing from the movies, it shows you how they begin and how they end.
But of course, the animated series is great.
Yeah.
Sure
and don't forget, Star Wars is the greatest movie series in the history of movies, in the history of cinema, where the best parts are in between the movies.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, on to episode 3.
Episode 3, sir, is, it's my favorite of the trilogy.
Of the prequel trilogy,
the
for
prequel
sure,
trilogy.
absolutely.
It's the capping off, it's Vader turning, you see it in his eyes, you know he's going to change. And it's such a good film, it's solid. Really, 2 movies would have worked out fine.
Speaking of solid, J.E.
That's a good segue.
What do you think about episode 3?
Leroy loves the camera.
Yeah, Leroy's moving the camera right now. He's our camera operator, so...
Episode 3, from the very beginning, starts off with a dogfight. It grabs you by the throat and does not freaking let go. The action's non-stop, just about. And up until the point where the sunset scene... Where he was staring at the window, making the decision.
It was the Sith.
He turned around with that tear in his eye. He's like, I'm betraying the Jedi. And I'm
at the sunset.
Yeah.
At the sunset.
Yeah.
And the next day, after he invades the Jedi Temple, it is sunrise. And it is a dawn of a new day and a new empire.
And he's meeting with Padme.
And he's meeting with Padme.
Oh my goodness, it's so
right
good.
at the sunrise. I forgot about that.
Right? It's so good.
And I'd also like to point out, Jar Jar's only in this fucking movie for 4 scenes.
I just saw him the once at the end.
At the beginning, when they were walking off the ship, and you see the back of him, when the camera's zooming in twice at the Galactic Empire, and then I think, what was it, her funeral? You see him walk by. No speaking lines whatsoever. By far, this is the best freaking one out of at least the prequel trilogies.
You know, we thought that episode 1 was better than we all originally thought. You know that we thought episode 2 still sucked. Episode 3 is so good, guys. You gotta watch it again. It's so good. And once again, Star Wars is filled with mythology, right? In episode 3, let's talk about the 4 Fs, the Fantastic 4 Fs, if you will. Right? Number 1, the Force. What is the Force? What is the Force? It's the divine light. All right? Just think about that as we go through 4, 5, and 6. Just think about that. Number 2, we got the fear and the fall. Okay? We got the fear of Anakin and the fall of Anakin. Right?
Because
It's because he's afraid of Padme dying. He's afraid of what could happen. So he's making terrible decisions that lead to his fall. Number 3, the failure. The failure of the Jedi Council and the Galactic Republic.
Even going back to that point where literally they're fighting Yoda and what was it, the Emperor, on like in the middle of the empty galactic empire.
Yes.
I mean, that's symbolic.
It's the failure. You know, how did they allow this to happen? How are we maybe allowing stuff like this to happen in our society? And number 4, though, the biggest part, the faith, the hope that something new is coming, that something better is going to come, that something's going to shake it up and return things to the way they were. And one more point, Anakin was prophesied to bring balance to the Force.
He did.
Before Anakin, there are tons of Jedi and 1 or 2 Sith.
Master and Apprentice.
After Anakin, there are 2 Jedi, basically, and 2 Sith. Did he not bring balance to the Force? Speaking of bringing balance, J.E., what about the themes of this movie? You were talking about the sunrise and the sunset, and you picked up on it, so like, what else can you give us?
Well, that right there is just, subtle, different, like in the background, just set for the backdrop to add to it, especially the ambient music that was throughout this whole thing. Beautiful. But what gets me is the last time you pointed this out, when Anakin saw Obi-Wan was when he was flying off to the other planet. He said,
I was like, this is the last time.
Goodbye, my old friend. That conversation he was having, he's like, just chill. Once we get this shit out of the way, you'll be made a Jedi Master. I almost guarantee it. And what it gets in the way? Anakin's fucking pride.
Yeah, his pride. His arrogance. Yeah,
his
absolutely.
arrogance. It's like,
even to the point where, like, at the end in the final battle, where Obi-Wan's like,
I have the high ground.
Yeah, and even before that, he was like, I'm trying to save you.
Yes.
And Anakin gives him this, like, shit-eating look, like this, like,
no, you're not.
You can't help me. Yeah, and then I have the high ground. And what happens? He loses all of his limbs except for the one he's already lost.
Even the part where, oh, damn it, you just had it.
It's a sad movie.
Oh, man.
It's the rise.
Where he has the arrogance when he was talking with Padme. He's like, I can kill the Emperor and we can rule this together. And she's like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Oh, no shit.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, that look she gave him, like, I don't know you anymore. And that's so true.
Speaking of I don't know this person anymore, Brooks, what do you think about some of the themes in this movie? You always have such good, insightful, profound things to say.
Yeah, well, I mean, betrayal's obviously a big one.
Yeah.
You know,
oh yeah.
You find out that the Emperor has been betraying everybody who trusts in him because, he's trying to grab power.
Yeah.
And then you have Anakin betraying Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
And it's heartbreaking.
And then Anakin
you
talking
are my
about
brother.
betraying the Emperor.
Yeah. And then even right there and then he's talking about betraying the Emperor already to Padme, and she's like, brother, you gone.
Well,
like, what the fuck?
Kill him and rule the universe together.
Yeah. It's terrible stuff. So it gives you some things about power and arrogance, but basically like betrayal and being tempted. There's a heavy temptation in this. It's like, you read through the Bible, for instance, and you got all these stories about Satan tempting people or whatever, or tempting Christ.
I've got an apple.
The Palpatine is tempting the fuck out of Anakin in this movie. And it's all there, and it happens quick because they did it all in one movie. But when it happens, dude, the music... At sunset, when Anakin is crying and he is realizing that he's about to betray the Jedi and stop Windu from stopping Palpatine, that scene, the music is so subtle and so good. And the choir in this, the music, this might be the best music in a Star Wars film, period. It just might be.
It's alright.
Speaking of it's alright, Jelani, what about themes of this movie?
The themes of this movie?
Yeah.
It's sadness.
Oh, it is sad.
It is the end of an actual era. This is how they wanted to complete this trilogy.
As a Star Wars film.
As a Star Wars film, it concludes everything. It's the story
and as
that
a
brings
fan,
us to New Hope.
It makes you want to cry.
It does. It really does.
It fucks you up.
It hurts.
Yeah.
Yoda.
So, everything. Yoda is heartbreaking.
Just drops.
Oh, yeah.
He's like, I know.
During Order 66,
Execute
and Yoda's
Order
just like
66. It's
sadness, man. It's the sadness of betrayal.
It's like downer ending like Empire has.
It's just like Empire, man. Revenge of the Sith is dope as hell. We all agree, right?
Oh, fuck yes.
Absolutely. Remember, what is the Force? The fear and the fall, the failure, and the faith. Because we know what's coming, and there is a new hope. And we are so excited that you guys have joined us through this journey to Force
You gotta
Awakens.
suffer JJ or Jar Jar to get to JJ.
Exactly. Gotta suffer Jar Jar to get to JJ. It's all downhill from here. We get episode 4 coming up very, very soon. We're excited about that.
Yeah.
And remember, everybody here in Huntsville Attic knows this. If you want to know what your movies mean to you, you gotta do one thing. Dig.
I just want to do the obligatory. I still don't know what that means.
But you know.
Yeah, I know. It's
I
just
don't know
John's
what it
not here
means.
tonight.
It's okay.
Dig.
Hammer time, hold shoot.